show you overall how we are doing in Performance Matters on your test. I was super impressed by overall how we did so much better in Module 2 than Module 1. So it's like we're kind of learning it. So if you want to see here, this gives you a good, so listen. So you can't see, I can't put it up there as you know, so you have to look over here. So let me just tell you what you're looking at. So the average for Pinellas County schools, so there's like thousands and thousands of students in Pinellas County high schools that are taking Module 2 tests, just like you guys did. So the average for all schools was a 65%. My students had a 72%, okay? And I still have a few people to test. So we can say countryside all together, about 70%. We are doing really well. You guys are doing really well. So most of you got a C or above. And remember, that's a raw score. That's what I call a raw score, like what you got. Like you got a 76% in the computer, like on the test. But remember, I do make a scale that could bump it up to another letter grade. It just depends on how many you got right in that. And of course, I'll share that with you. I'll share the scale with you once I have it. And of course, I'll put that in the grade book as your grade. So if you got a C or above on that, you are killing it because this stuff is not easy. Okay, I think this course in itself is a challenging course. Okay, remember I teach AP Pre-Calculus, like really tough class, and that's a tough class for sure. But I can tell you some of the word problems we did at the beginning of the year. If I showed those to some of my pre-calc kids, they would struggle with them. I struggled with some of them. Okay, so you guys are doing a really good job. If your grade is a C or above right now in this class, you should evaluate what am I doing that's working for me and keep doing it. Okay. If your grade's not so great right now, what do I need to change? And that's a personal question. I mean, that changes from person to person. Am I just copying her homework and not really understanding it? Am I doing the homework? Am I using those test reviews that she gives us? They're a lot of times just like the test. So think about what you individually need to continue doing or what you individually need to change to be successful in here. Because I don't want to beat a dead horse, as they say, but it is really important that you guys do well in this class. You have to pass this class to graduate. Nobody wants to take this class every year, and they'll make you. They will make you, okay? And we have seniors right now, and I'm not saying this to scare you, because I don't want to leave any of my kids behind, okay? I don't want any of Tracy Morse's students to have to take summer school to pass this class or take this a whole nother year with another teacher. You would never have the same teacher twice. I don't want that for you. So it's still early enough in the year that if anything is like off, you can fix it now. But as time goes by, getting a lot of F's and stuff, it's going to really be hard to dig yourself out of that hole, okay? We have seniors at the school. I'm not saying this to scare you. It's a fact. We have seniors at this school that are panicking, okay? We have juniors at the school that are panicking because they will not walk across that stage that you've worked 13 years to get across. They will not get to if they don't pass Algebra 1 and pass the EOC at the end of the year, okay? If you stick with me, you will pass this class and you will pass the EOC. And then you don't even have to think about Algebra 1 anymore, okay? Trust me, trust the process. The best indication of how you're going to do on the EOC is how you do on these module tests that we take. So if you're continuously passing those, you're going to feel so comfortable when it comes time for that EOC. If you're failing these every time, we need to do something different. You need to do something different, okay? Tutoring, start asking more questions, not go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, okay? All right, so fresh start, page 135. Please, thank you to all of you that have your reference sheets on your desk. I appreciate you so much. We do have to be doing that. We are getting into graphing lines, okay? We're definitely going to need to use our calculators today, unless you can just do a lot of mental math, which is fine, whatever. But we're going to be plugging numbers into an equation and solving, okay? And you're using your calculator always as much as you want. Now listen, to graph a linear equation, there's lots of different ways to do it, okay? the first way we're going to learn is by making a table of values. This is a table of values, okay? And this is like a fancy one. What they have done in the book is they picked some x values for you, and they even wrote the equation, negative 2x minus 3. So what we're going to do is plug each of these x values into negative 2x minus 3 and get the y value. And that'll give us the y value, and then I'll show you what we do. And by the way, sometimes these numbers are picked for you. Sometimes you get to pick. And that's where first period got confused. Like, well, how do I know what numbers to pick? Here's the good news. You guys can pick any values of x that you want. Any x values will give everybody the same graph, okay? So start doing that. So what we're going to do is do negative 2, and then I'm going to plug in, right, for x, whatever the x value is there. Max, head up, please. And then solve it. And whatever you get is going to go here. So remember, you have to know how to use your calculator correctly, or you're not going to do well. So remember, to put a negative in, you do 2 and then the negative times 4. Guys, what do you need? Do you have what? Didn't you take one of my pencils? Okay, let's get back into this. Okay, let me start that over because we were disrupted. 2 negative times 4 negative, hit equals. So that means negative 2 times negative 4 is 8, and then minus 3 is 5. Okay, so our ordered pair is negative 4, 5. And you're going to go down the line. I'll do one more with you, and then you're going to work on this for a second. So then you're going to plug in the negative 2. So clear. So 2 negative times 2 negative equals, and then minus 3 equals. We get 1. So that ordered pair is x is negative 2, y is 1. And you're going to go ahead and finish through that. So if anybody's not understanding that, column over, and then every day. The door, and I was like, I thought that was you. I put it right. Yeah. I'm watching her, and people still seem to not know what's going on. So I'm going to do one more. And then, guys, it's going to take a long time to get to the homework if we're not working this. I'm not going to do everything for you guys. I see a lot of people just waiting for me. That's not going to work. We've got to do it ourselves. So look, x's are given to you. X is 0. So I took out, this is the equation, negative 2. There was an x there. I replaced it with a 0, minus 3. And then you go to your calculator and you type it in. 2 negative times 0 equals. Right? So negative 2 times 0 is 0, and then minus 3 equals negative 3. So I get an ordered pair of 0, negative 3. There's my x and my y. Okay? So do the next two. Sylvia, what did you get for this one? 1 and then what? Yep. Who got -5? Raise your hand. -5. Okay. What? Keep it going for us then. Jace, what did you get for the last one? What's this? Did you get this number? Close. Anybody get something else? Hannah, what did you get? -9? -9 is the answer. -2 times 3 is -6. -6 minus 3 is -9. Okay? So if you're getting these y values wrong, it's got to be something you're doing with your calculator. So when we get to the next example, if you were somebody that was getting the y values wrong, have me come over to your desk and help you with your calculator. Because it's all calculator work. You don't have to do anything in your head. You just have to be able to type this in your calculator correctly. Okay? Now, what do you do with those points? Well, it's been done for us in this example. You graph the points. Okay? So each of these points are graphed here. This is why I said we have to know how to graph ordered pairs. So remember, -4, 5, we always start at 0, 0. That's to the left 4, up 5. Now be careful. Look at how this graph is numbered. It's counting by 2s. So if I wanted to be at the number 1, like the next one, left 2, up 1, see how it's in the middle? Left 2, up 1. Because 1 would be halfway between 0 and 2. And then you can see 0, -3 is graphed, 1, -5, and 3, -9 would be around right here. Okay? Here's how you know if you did your math right here. This is important. Look. The way you know you did your math right here is that all your points should make a line every time. Okay? No matter what x values you use, I could give every single one of you 5 different x values. I could give Alexis -5 to 0. I could give Kristali 1 to 5. Alan 6 to 10. I could make everybody have a different set of x values. So you would have all different points right here, but every single person's graph would look the same. Okay? It would make a line. All right? Let's go to the next page. So here's another chart, XY chart table. And here, again, they picked the x values for us. I call this like a non-fancy XY chart. They didn't give us space to do the work. Here's the equation. So we're going to plug right into that. And there's some space right here. Why is there talking? So I have an equation right here of 2. That x means multiplication, so 2 times the x value they gave us, plus 5. Okay? So that's the equation. These are the x values. We're simply plugging the -5 in. So you go to your calculator and you type in 2 times 5 negative equals. Okay? So that means 2 times -5 is -10. And then I would type in plus 5 equals. I get -5. And we keep going. I'm going to type in the -3 next. 2 times -3 plus 5. Max, head up. 2 times 3 negative equals. Make sure you hit the equals, okay? That gives me -6, then plus 5 equals -1. Keep going. Keep going. That's how you should be doing it. Get off the phone. Not that. Gabs, what'd you get for this one right here? Very good. 3. 2 times -1 plus 5, right? So 2 times 1 negative equals plus 5 equals 3. Very good. Okay. Alexis, what'd you get on the next one? Say it again. 5. Excellent, Sadie. 2 times 0 plus 5. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. Okay? So again, if you are getting these wrong, it's calculator. So that's easy to fix. Easy to fix. Gabriel, what'd you get for 2? 9 is right. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. Now, we are going to graph this. Guys, don't forget you start at 0, 0, and you do your x first, which is left or right. If it's negative, we go to the left. Then we go up or down. If it's negative, we go down. So the left 5, down 5. And again, these are counting by 2s. So a 5 is going to be in the middle of two numbers. So -5 is in between negative, give me your pen. -5 is between -4 and -6, and then down -5. So it's kind of hard to graph, right, when they count by 2s. Do the best you can. Left 3, down 1 would be like around there. Left 1, up 3, be about there. 0, 5, that's left or right, neither. Up 5, and then to the right 2, up 9. Now, we are sketching a graph. The word sketch means it can't be perfect, especially when we're going in between. And like your pen could make a bigger point, maybe if your pencil's not super sharpened, your point with a pencil might not be at a perfect spot. But for the most part, guys, your point should line up. If you have a point like that's off, like over here, something's wrong with your math, okay? That's the good thing about this type of problem. You should know if you did it right. Can you connect your points with a smooth, continuous line with arrows on both sides? So if you have this like guy that's out in another part, you know that that point you made a mistake on, okay? Let's do one more, and then we'll go to the homework, okay? So if you haven't really been paying attention, haven't really been trying, please do on this one, or you're going to be really stuck on the homework. I'm not just putting the key up. I need you guys to be trying this stuff, right? So the reason this is a different example is simply because they put a fraction in here. We can't be afraid of fractions. We have a fraction key on our calculator. So if you don't remember how to do that, I'm going to review that with you. So we're back to a fancy XY chart here. They picked values of X. Now guys, why are they picking such big numbers like -8, -4, 4, and 8? Why isn't it just like nice simple numbers like 1 and 2 and 3? It's because we have a fraction. By choosing these numbers, these are numbers that are multiples of that denominator. When you multiply a fraction, let me say it again. When you multiply a fraction by a number, and that number is a multiple of the denominator, multiples 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on, when you do that, it gets rid of the fraction, and I'll prove it to you in a second. So what we're going to do, just like we did on the other two, is take this equation and plug in each X value. Okay, so we plug it in. The rest is calculator work. So let's remember how to do a fraction on this calculator. The ABC button is your fraction key, okay? And when you do 1/4, you literally just type in 1 fraction key 4. You don't have to know common denominators or anything like that. It's right there. Now, it looks weird, guys, but this is that. It's just your screen is skinny. It can't make it a number on top and a number on bottom. So it's 1/4 times 8 negative equals, and then plus 3 equals. You should get 1. So our ordered pair is -8, 1. Let's do another one. 1/4 times -4, right? That's the x value. That's the only thing that's going to change this whole chart. So clear. So we should be typing this in our calculator. Tali, let's do it with me. 1/4 times 4 negative equals. So what we just found is 1/4 times -4 is -1. And then we still just do plus 3 equals 2. So that ordered pair is -4, 2. You are going to continue doing those. I'm going to come around and check, make sure you're doing it, and then we'll finish up before we get to the homework. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard to do that. Just, I'll let you see mine. Not right now, Jace. We're in the middle of notes. I said, don't even ask. We're not going to start a line before we even finish notes. Aristotle, did you get the 0 one? Did you get this next one? Did you get it for this one? It's okay if you didn't. Okay. It's all right. Candace, did you get it? Yeah. You didn't do it wrong. You did it right. It's 3. Good job. So 1/4 times 0. Guys, remember, if you multiply something by 0, it's just 0. Those are the easiest ones. 1/4 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 3 is 3. Jace, have a seat. You should be writing this down. You don't need to worry about what's going on in that other classroom. All right. Natalie, did you get the next one? Good job. 4. 1/4 times 4 plus 3. Okay. 1/4 times 4 plus 3. That's your 4. Delaney, did you get the last one? Good job. So 1/4 times 8 plus 3. Okay? So here's our points. Now we have to graph it. So when we go to graph it, don't forget, and I mess up on this all the time, because it's counting by 2s, any odd numbers, you have to go in between. So this is left 8 up 1. So left 8 up in the middle of 0 and 2. Okay, there's my first point. Left 4 up 2. Left 4 up 2. Left or right 0 up 3. So don't go anywhere on the x-axis, up 3. 3 would be between 2 and 4. Looking good so far, right? I'm making points that will connect to make a line. If something's outside of those 3, like if it looks like it would curve, you made a mistake here. Okay? 4, 4, right? Right 4, up 4. And last one, right 5, up, right 8, up 5. Right 8, up, oops, sorry, 5, not that one. And you can see they all connect. Okay? So this is what your homework is going to be. Over to page. Now, I'm going to change this. We're going to do 3 and 4. Now, really, really simplified XY charts for you. You only have to do 3. Like in all of the examples we just did, it was like, I think 5 in everyone. It's only asking for 3, and they're not giving them to you. You get to pick. You pick whatever numbers you want. My advice is to take a look at what the graph looks like and maybe pick numbers that make sense for that. For example, in this one, like see how my graph goes out to 8 on the y-axis? I might use -1, 0, and 1 as my x values. So you will plug them in, get your y values, graph them. But you don't have to use these numbers. You can use any numbers you want. You just want to maybe try to fit on the graph, okay? So you're going to work on these 4, and I will come around and help you. And I'm not putting the key up for a long time. I want you guys to be working. But I'm happy to check your work. So guys, on number 8, I want to talk about it because this one is a fraction, first of all. So number 8, I'm doing it. So when you see a fraction, you want to be a little bit more careful. Again, there are no wrong answers here. You can pick whatever you want. But if you pick certain numbers here, you're going to get decimal answers here, which we don't want to have to graph decimals. How do you fix that? Well, look at your denominator and pick multiples of that number. In other words, multiples of 4, 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 2, I got it, don't worry about it. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 24. So we could use 4, would be a great one. 0 is always a good number. Multiplying by 0 makes it go away. And you could use 8, you could use -4. Just make sure it's a multiple of that number. Now look guys, this one's a little bit trickier. You're going to type in the number for x, but then you have to solve for y, right? So for example, when I do 1/4 times 4, okay, I get a 1. How do I get y by itself? Subtract 2. So this had a little extra work in it, and you would get x is -1. Let's do the 0. So I have y plus 2 equals 1/4 times 0. Anything times 0 is what? 0. And then what would I do to get y by itself? Come on, y'all did great on this test. Subtract 2. Yes, good. Okay, one more. I'm just trying to find space to work here. Y plus 2 equals 1/4 times, I used 8. Now remember, it's okay if you already did this problem and you use different numbers. Our line should look the same, okay? So don't think that you were wrong if you picked different numbers. Okay, so 1/4 times 8 is 2. Right? I just did that in my calculator. 1/4 times 8. See how it got rid of the fraction? When you multiply a fraction by a multiple of that denominator. Jace, tell me again. What do I do? Subtract 2. Yes. And 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay? Now again, you might have different ordered pairs than I do because you did this without me. You were already done. That's fine, but just make sure your line looks the same. All of us should have the same line. So this is right 4 down 1. We're counting by ones on this graph, so that's good. Left or right 0, down 2. And then to the right 8, up or down 0. Right? So we have, so if you picked numbers over here or bigger, your line might just keep going this way or this way. Everybody's line should look like this though. Okay? All right, so I basically did 2 of them with you. That left 2 for you to do. Don't forget about EDIA is one of the assignments that we have now added to our week. Most of you did a really good job today. I'm sorry for all the interruptions. I'll keep dealing with that till it's handled.